Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. So Takemichi from Tokyo Revengers is often talked of as the true underdog. Like the people say the story is relatable because no, he's just an ordinary folk in a world where he's completely out of debt and he's just trying to make things work, to save his girlfriend. But I'll argue that he's not an underdog, he's just completely useless. And anything that he does or anything that is achieved is thanks to plot armor. Because I watch the series and it just infuriates me at certain things. What Takemichi does, the things that he could have made good use of, he just wasted. And I'll move on to elaborate on why. So first of all, I would like to talk maybe one or two words on the premise of the show. I think it's kind of stupid because the girl that he's going back to save, in the original timeline where he hears about it on the news, it's not like the girl was like the love of his life, the first love. He's just like, oh, that's the girl, that's the only girl I ever dated back in high school. Oh, I wonder what happened to her and things like that. But if that girl was like the love of his life and everything, and then things ended badly, and immediately yes, the emotional attachment would be immediately there. But since it's not that, it's just like some high school fling, and then he gets sent back by mistake, some kind of things. So there are a lot of problems already with the premise. I don't want to get into that. But let me just go now on Takemichi so he can go back in time to try and save his girlfriend, or the girlfriend at the time, the girlfriend that he hardly cared for, and that past him hardly cares for. So I learned from what first of all, Takemichi, you follow me, Takemichi and his friend group, and all of them, they are weak, but I think most of them, they are more resilient than Takemichi, because when in the original timeline, when they went to people's school, like they playing gangsters, they went to people's, and then they got beat up by the other guys. They had a very hard time and everything. The next year now, Takemichi ran away. He ran. While his other friends they don't have any supernatural abilities, they stayed in school, they tried to make up, but he ran, and he has been living his whole life running away from things. And that is just that has to point the fact that has to put a baseline that his friends, they are like the normal people in this world. Takemichi is below those people in everything: stamina, speed, strength, even endurance. He's below them. He's below all of them. And the only time he gets things out is because they plot so much just wants things to happen. Because you take a look at his abilities, even if he cannot fight, what most characters do is that what most people do is that they try to compensate for their lack of strength by being good in other areas. Like, okay, if you are not strong, you start to make things strategy wise, or you start to build on your charisma so you can bullshit people into doing what you want to do. And I'll take example Subaru in ReZero, because Subaru is the weakest person in all of those things in the whole world, but he constantly pushes through the pain, through the heartbreak to come and save the day. And that is not only because, and again, Subaru is even more, you can even say, is even more pathetic than Takemichi. But what Subaru has in his side is that he's kind of like a con man. He has charisma, and he can kind of bullshit his way out of situations, out of problems. Like in the first season, where he was able to rally a lot of people to come and kill the blue whale. So in the same way with Takemichi now even has a more proven ability that he can see the future, but he cannot kind of use it to his advantage. Or he knows the future rather, but he cannot kind of use it to his advantage. And you would think knowing what will happen will make somebody invisible, but not in Takemichi's case, because he can even convince people. Like when he wanted to go and convince Mikey not to go against Megus, instead of building a strong case, a strong argument that would make Mikey to start doubting, he goes and starts bending down and crying in front of them, crying. All what he does in that whole series is cry, where there are better ways he can do things. That means that he has no charisma, he has no wit, he has no thinking abilities. All he does is just jump head deep into situations and be crying. And I don't know, like people say it's an underdog story, but there are things that he can be doing to better maximize the outcome. Yeah, and each time that they question him, he cannot like make a lie, because again, I'll bring the issue back to Subaru. When Subaru tries to convince people, he brings up lies. He tries to sell them a telephone as a mythical worldwide thing. He brings up lies to cover up the fact that he can return through death. But Takemichi can't just bring out the lies, say, no, I've been following Kisaki Teta, or I've been hearing issues about him, I've been hearing stories about him, I've done my research, those kind of things. Like take for example Baji. Baji just has like Takemichi knows that Kisaki Teta is an enemy, that is bad news. But all he does is walk around and be crying left and right. But Baji just had an inkling of a suspicion. Then he went above and beyond in order to get rid of Kisaki Teta. That shows the two people. And they even start to talk to me about, Baji is a fighter and everything. Those things have nothing to do with your character. Takemichi is big beauty. I say he can even take a beating because he can even take a beating because his friends are better at taking beatings than him. Because in the original timeline, why they suffering and those things, he got up and transferred and left school. But to me, the thing that really cements him as like complete trash, complete uselessness is his two missions, where he was sent to save Draken and when he was supposed to save Baji and to stop Kazutora from killing Baji. So the first one with Draken, I can excuse it a bit because there was a big brawl, he kind of got in the midst of it. But when they're fighting there and then you come and then I see that Draken has been stuck and the person standing walking with the bloody knife, I was thinking to myself, you had one job. Even if he was not strong, even if he was not powerful, move with purpose. He was just walking around and then pushing there, and then he was crying, oh, Draken. And then to get up and see somebody moving with the bloody knife. It is due to big plot armor that Draken did not die there and there. The fact that he got up and then when I started fighting again, like, it's complete nonsense. It's really. But that one is a bit understandable because he was started, he don't really know anything. But the second time is what I feel like is inexcusable incompetence, because he knows what is going to happen, he knows at what time, and he knows who is going to do it. He knows that Kazutora is going to kill Baji, and he knows that Mike is going to get so angry that he'll go and kill Kazutora. But when they go on the fight now, he's going to start, instead of keeping an eye on Kazutora to make sure that he doesn't sneak attack him, he goes and he's concentrating on top Baji. Why? And that's just to say he doesn't think. And if you want to say Takemichi represents the average person, I don't think so, because if you're middle class, you're a lot tougher than Takemichi is, both mentally and physically. Like an average construction worker is not the same as an average janitor or store clerk and everything. So don't say that Takemichi is like the average person or where they bring the whole underdog story. I don't personally relate to Takemichi. I don't think I'm as useless as the man, and I don't think if they put me in that same situation I'll be as useless as him. And to get back to my point, the only reason why Mikey doesn't kill Kazutora in that place is because of plot armor. Because Baji gets up and then when he has a mortal wound, stabs himself again, and then Takemichi happens to pick up, the charm that Baji, that all of them bought when they formed the gang and all those things. And that's the only reason that stops Mikey from killing Kazutora. And the final thing I want to say is when he goes back to the past, and does something, he doesn't make assurances like when he goes to the past, and he says save Draken, before jumping to the future, he should make some assurances. He should go and tattoo on his skin, so make sure you keep your girlfriend safe. Or he go and meet one of his friends, tell that whatever happens, promise me that you keep my girlfriend safe. He has friends that can keep him honest, take care of my girlfriend, tattoo it on his skin, put at least some assurances. He just goes and then he does the job and then just back into the future when he has changed the timeline. He doesn't realize that things that he might have changed, he might not have worked out, he has not put any assurances, so it's very normal that anything can work out. That's why I'll say Takemichi is just, and I want to say, if you relate to that type of character, because Tokyo Revengers is not an underdog story, it is pure fantasy, it is pure escapist fantasy. Now you can sit there, when we meet him in the future, it's not easy. Like, you can sit there, you can have no backbone, you can be weak as a noodle, you cannot get your life in order, and then you can go and then show weakness to people, who can be crying in front of people and crying left, right and center, and then you get things done. That's not how the world works. That's not how anything works. We meet Takemichi in the future, just look at his room. I'm not mocking the fact that he's working, a minimum wage job and anything, but just look at his room. He's eating and leaving things there scattered and everything, and he has an important job to do, because and also bring something with Naoto. So as a kid, Takemichi wants Naoto that something will happen to his sister, and so Naoto takes that information and runs with it. He goes, he tries hard to save his sister, and even as he grew as an adult, he never forgot what Takemichi told to him. He went and joined the police force and everything, and after his sister died, he went and looked for Takemichi. Compare that again now to what Takemichi was doing, to what Takemichi does. Just nonsense. I mean, Naruto is a true MVP in the whole story. Him and Baji. Takemichi is just useless. Takemichi is just something true. Is a plot, tells a story. She is far worse of a person than the average person. Like far worse of a character than the average person. Strength-wise, ability-wise, even reasoning-wise, he doesn't think. And anything he achieves is thanks to plot armor. Anyway, I'm going to end this now. This video ended up being a lot longer than I thought it would. So what do you think? Do you agree or disagree with my thoughts? If you have different thoughts, you can share them down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the later one. Bye.